I'm your host, T. Mitchell Bell, and we've been off air for a couple weeks. I haven't had a guest in here, but we've got a special treat today. Heather Kropf is here in the studio, and she's going to be playing some songs for us, hopefully off of her new record, right?
That's the idea.
That's the idea, yeah. So this is her second time on. The first time I don't know what happened, but something with the technical difficulties or something. Maybe I forgot my camera or what, I don't know. But this time we are all set and ready to go. And Heather, what would you like to play?
I'm going to start with a song called Old House Show. This will be on CD. And there's my piano. Okay, here we go.
Let's go down to the old house show. Ask all the amateurs what they know. Let's go down to the 4-H fair. The demolition derby man is there. Life flies by when the work day's done. So let's go out and have some fun. Sitting on the porch, sipping lemonade. Or off with your honey in the shade. Working for far too long, trying not to get it wrong. You can always put things right if you just come out with me tonight. Life flies by when the work day's done. So let's go out and have some fun. Roller derby, rock and roll. Black lights at the all-night bowl. Life don't mind if you unwind it all. Life don't mind it if you unwind it all.
I like that idea.
Winding it all?
Yeah, but I like the black lights and the whole thing. I was
yeah,
putting that space together where you feel like really comfortable,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to write a song about stuff I don't usually write about. So.
Yeah, I read a Sheryl Crow interview where she had a writer's block, and she hung out with Kid Rock up in Detroit, and they went out cruising in his big whatever car, like total hot rod,
Right.
drinking, Pabst Blue Ribbon or Bud or something like that, just like in the 70s type of thing. And all of a sudden, the real reason, the reason why they wanted to be a musician, a songwriter, why you got into this whole thing. It was just listening to the Beatles and,
Right.
all that stuff. So that sometimes, you got to turn the black lights on and, put on some Hendrix or whatever and just go like, this is why I wanted to do this,
Yeah.
But, well, thank you very much for coming here.
Thanks for having me here.
Oh, it's
Nice to be back.
It's awesome. And you went through like quite an ordeal
To arrive?
to arrive here with.
Yes. I was in Indiana, the state of, doing a photo shoot yesterday for the record, and got up this morning at like 5 and started driving. And my GPS took me south of here. So, but we still got here, so it all
Oh
worked out.
wow! So you were on 70 coming back then, right?
No, I came back on the toll road, which I have to say, if I never ever drive the Ohio toll road again, I won't ever be unhappy. It's the most boring road on the planet.
The one that goes around Columbus.
No, it's north because I was in northern Indiana. And
Okay.
through like Toledo and Cleveland, like that, coming down.
I got you.
So
Photo shoot in Indiana. Wow, I'm hoping I can get a photographer closer.
well, we made the arrangement before I realized where she lived, and then I was like, by the way, where are you? She's like, oh, I'm in Goshen, Indiana. I was
Well,
like,
that's where you. Yeah, that's.
I was like, well, good thing I have friends there I can stay with, and it worked out great. She was fantastic. We had a really good time. So
that's where you went to college, right?
that's where I went to college.
If I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So you.
So I stayed with some high school friends, and saw their 2 kids, and there was a friend of mine from Chicago who was directing a play that's being released tomorrow. So I got to see the tech version of it last night, and so it was fun.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Small towns, you run into people.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes.
Sometimes even in cities like Pittsburgh.
All the time, and that's the crazy part. Especially if you run into people that. Did you go to high school there? Like, is that where
I
you
went
grew
to
up?
high school. Yeah, I went to high school in Goshen as well.
So you run into somebody you haven't seen,
Yeah.
like for a while, and then you realize
That
that.
actually happened to me yesterday.
Did it?
Yeah.
And you think you know them,
Yeah.
and do you say like something like, "Hey, are you?"
Yeah, no, she recognized me immediately.
Okay.
And then I started saying, I knew it started with a J, and she was like, Jessica, and I was like, oh yeah, Jessica. So.
Yeah, isn't it like it happened to me because I moved away and I came back to my hometown, and then somebody would say, and I go, I remember the name, but trying to place the face, and then when you do, it's like all of a sudden they age like 30 years in front of your face.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you have this picture in your mind.
Of where they were, yeah.
And then you see that in their face, and then they go. Whoop. It's just like one of those.
Well, and
photo
then you have to turn it
things.
around and go like, man, is that how they're looking at me?
It is.
It is how they're looking at you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's really, but it's cool. It's cool to like. Sometimes depends.
Sometimes, yes.
Sometimes like, oh man, I don't want to. But most of the time, it's very cool. Anyway, so you've been working in the studio.
I have been. I
And-
started I think we started tracking in November last year. Got all the basics done by early January, and then we've been sort of slowly plugging away at some overdubs since then.
Well, do you want to play us another tune, like
Sure.
maybe from the record, and we'll
Yeah.
talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah.
In case you just joined us, you're listening to Acoustic Songs Live, and we have Heather Kropf here in the studio. And we broadcast here at 91.7 FM and stream live at WNJR.org. And what song are you going to do for us?
I'm going to do a song called Rain Quilt. This is one that it's actually an older song. Most of the tunes on the album, a upcoming album, are a little newer, but this was I think the oldest one that made it onto the project. I don't know if I may have played this the last time I was here, but if you didn't have it on video, no one knows, man.
Yeah, nobody does, unless they were listening to the show.
Unless
like
they're listening to it live.
Oh man, they're repeating it,
Yeah. It's a good song, so I'm happy to repeat it. Anyway, here we go.
Okay.
I'll make a rain quilt for my love, of sage and smoke and burning cedar, of magic threads and tears and gathers. I'll make a rain quilt for my love. Oh, I'll make a rain quilt for my love, of starfish and seagull feathers, tide pulls on the hammer forever, I'll make a rain quilt for my love. It's for my love, for my love, to sail you down the sacred river when we're tired of walking on water. I'll sow in the sound of morning doves and scraps of stories where we have fallen, and wave in mercy for all our longings, so you won't doubt that we are something. Oh my love, oh my love, I'll sail you down the sacred river when we're tired of walking on water. The night sun and the pull of the ocean, the curve of Highway 101, and cliff rocks in the dark rejoicing for this rain quilt I've made that covers my love. It's for my love, for my love, to sail you down the sacred river when we're tired of walking on water. For my love, for my love, I'll sail you down the sacred river when we're tired of walking on water. I'll sail you down the sacred river, for we're tired of walking on water.
I think I said this the last time, that when I listen to you play, I just get like so mellowed, I can meditate,
Cool.
just like gives me I can picture a lake and that type of just
Nice.
calmness, the
Yeah.
tranquility that kind, and that's good. That's a good thing,
thank you.
I think we need more of that kind of stuff.
Kind of
in
what I do.
today's life.
Again, it's like it falls in the line. I get my favorite kinds of comments are when people tell me where they listen to the stuff I record, because I care the most about the stuff I record over like live shows. This is the thing that lasts,
Mhm.
and my favorites are when people tell me they're playing them for their newborn,
Oh wow!
or
Yeah.
if someone told me that sort of like palliative care, when people are off their IVs and
Yeah.
ready to pass, like people are playing my records. Like that's like, I'm
Wow.
like, what? That's so cool.
I and it's humbling, and
It really is. Like
and
you're
s-
in the room with these people,
yeah. And somebody asked. I played a song from America, and they said, I want you to play that. I want that to play at my funeral or something. And I was just like,
Wow.
whoa, wow, like, okay,
That's what music does, right?
yeah.
Connects
Hopefully,
with people, and not with
Yeah.
everyone, but like certain things connect with certain people at certain times, and it means something.
yeah. And we're in this age of non-connection. Everybody thinks they're connected, and they're really not. And
Yeah.
we're so disconnected,
Yeah.
with all these ways to connect.
Yeah. There's this like saturation of connection, but you wonder if that's a substitute for actual connection.
It really isn't, So tell me, you've been recording, and
Mm-hmm.
let's what's, I don't know how much you want to
I can tell you.
surprise us, or what's,
Well, I mean,
you have a
just-
release date? Is anything kind of like
I'm shooting for September sometime. I think that's the realistic thing. This is one of the crazy things about this project is I came off a couple of years of like chronic fatigue and some environmental toxin kind of illness stuff.
Yeah,
so I was
I didn't
really worried I was going to burn out if this project took too long. And so I was like, I'm going to record it. It's going to be done in 3 months. There's no way I'm going to burn out in 3 months. And then as we went along, like I did a Kickstarter and an Indiegogo and all this stuff, and got ready, and I got my people. I'm working with co-producing with Jeff Berman, and we started getting people together, and it's just turned into one of these projects where it just takes as long as it takes, and it's good. Like you just have to like give up your expectations and like have none, and just sort of surrender to the process and trust that you're just follow that, and it's going to be the right record. And so that's kind of what I've been doing. And so I've just sort of given up. I keep shooting for a goal and an end date, but then stuff happens, and then you have to like reevaluate and go like, am I chasing the muse or am I chasing a deadline? And so you have to just choose which one you're going after.
Yeah.
So, and I have
Yeah.
the luxury right now because there's, the Kickstarter money is like, I'm not beholden to pay people back or pay a bank back or something.
Yeah.
With money, people are waiting for the record. It'll get done and it'll be what I want to present, and that's great. So
That's you brought that up, and this is the first time I did a Kickstarter, and I was humbled by it all.
it's a lot of work, man.
But also just just like the trying to get the word out about it, and I was going to go to Nashville, do it, and all this stuff, and I had one number and didn't make that, and then rolled and just did it again, and had another idea, and but I was just so amazed by, it's just so grateful of like people contributing money
Yeah.
to
It's
you
an
as an
incredible
artist.
feeling. Yeah, it's an incredible feeling.
It is, and I found out that, and I heard there were some negative comments about Kickstarter this and blah blah blah, and like, and I feel such a commitment, like you say, to give them something really good. Like this is, it takes what it takes, and here it is. I'm not gonna rush it in this. When I turn it over, it's like, here's your gift back because they gave to you.
This is what I meant to make, kind of thing. Yeah, and here you go.
And I found the people who contributed the largest amount want the least in return, which is the thing that blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like when you go with the gift things and everything, just like, here,
I know.
make some music.
It's incredible. And especially, I've never been in a band except in college, but I wonder if it's more meaningful as a sort of a solo singer-songwriter to have that kind of upfront backing by a larger group of people, because you spend so much time playing solo and writing solo and practicing solo. Like all of it is a very kind of isolated and solitary thing. And, the only community you get is from the people that are coming to see you, or if you go to songwriter nights or whatever and kind of connect with your peers. But so for me, it was just like, I couldn't even believe it. I had a blast doing it. And then, I just felt like, wow, I have all the resources. I've got the people. Like I can just have fun, I don't have to like be worried, looking behind me going like, when's the money running out? Where or when do I have to pay people,
Yeah.
that thing.
Yeah.
I'm going over budget, so like don't get me wrong. Like at this point, I have to like come up with some creative solutions. But
Yeah, me too.
I've gotten far enough along that it's actually happening. So I'm in.
I find that part, and then you're introverted as a songwriter, and then you have to kind of like put yourself out there and become very public and very, like, here it is, and there's all this publicity stuff that happens once it's done, and it's just such a roller coaster ride of emotions of things, and God bless you for doing it, and like I can't wait to hear that song with the full band. I'm excited to. When the CD comes out, that'll let us know, and we'll put it on.
I will definitely let you know.
Yeah, and we'll get it on here on the radio. And
Okay.
Yeah, everybody's
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know where. You almost fit into that
What
jazz category
what
almost.
category
'Cause-
am I, Mitch?
yeah, because I mean, I wouldn't put you in Americana for
No.
folk maybe, but it's more more jazzy in that way. I don't know. It's kind of has that it's as it is. It's
Yeah.
I think
I know
can't,
what you're talking about.
I can't.
yeah.
I can't.
It's really hard for me to like tell people what I do. I just say it's like piano pop,
It's not really pop though.
But the song structures are, I don't know. I mean, that's what I call it because I don't know what else to call it.
It's
not
like
really.
Joni Mitchell, and she's
Yeah.
kind of hard to pigeonhole.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
know.
Yeah, you can't really put her in a category.
Well, because her career moved as well. Like she started out clearly as a folk artist, and then she moved into jazz and pop. And I think right now, I would call her pop because
Yeah,
the way everything sort of puts together on her records.
she might even be country at this point. Yeah,
She just might be. What is country at this point?
rock and roll with a fiddle and a banjo. That's all. Yeah, that's hard. So, so we found out. Okay, we're gonna September then.
September is the date I would personally like to do it because at that point, then you're getting into too late into the fall. I think I'm aiming to actually have it done by the end of July, and then that gives me about 6 weeks to press it and put together the show and
Promo and publicity.
yeah, get all the Kickstarter people with their stuff first because that's the arrangement is they get it first.
Yeah.
So
Well, cool. In case you just joined us, you're listening to Acoustic Songs Live, and I'm your host, T. Mitchell Bell, and we have Heather Kropf here in the studio, and she's playing some stuff off of her forthcoming CD, and I don't know if she's going to play some other stuff, but I it's
I'll
entirely.
just keep playing 'em.
Yeah. What do you want to play?
To me they feel like sketch, like without the band and all the orchestration, they feel like here's a sketch of a song. But I'll do another one. This is called Valentine.
Let's take the long road home. Get lost along the way. The moon is in the sapphire sky, and we have so many words to say. Well, let's take the long road home. I'm not ready for the end. The city air is almost sweet. Tonight, the wandering is our friend, and the woods are yours and mine. Valentine, so close, like the breath of a lover. Your voice is the sound that I am after. Two hearts drifting nowhere in particular. Let's take the long road home. Smile at the song on the radio. We'll sing out for all the beauty that this world can hold. Nomads with no plans for getting old. Let's take the long road home. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. La da 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 da.
I was just putting a tweet out there for everybody to come in and listen to you on, yeah. Just
Rich.
think, hey, come on, listen. She's on the radio right now, and it's great. So we were talking a little bit about the recording, and one of the things I saw that was really cool that you've been doing is kind of documenting the record, like taking photographs and stuff like that, and keeping a. And if you go to Heather's website at heatherkropf.com, that's KROPF, and check out her the news. There's a great photographs of Chris Parker there playing some guitar, and there's a lot of different stuff. And one of the things I thought was really cool, the videos and piano and all that stuff. But you have this thing called "Is It Good?"
Oh yeah,
I
do.
I really like this idea.
Oh, good. I'm having a blast with it.
And why don't you tell everybody about that?
Sure. So before I got sick, I had this idea because I was aware that there are so many bands and artists in Pittsburgh and so many venues, and all I would do is hear people complain about how there are no good artists and no good venues in Pittsburgh. And I was like, that can't possibly be true, because that just can't be, because it's a large city. It has to have, something. So I thought, well, what happens if I go see one band a week at a different venue and check them out, so I know what I'm talking about when I say there's good music in the city. And so I do have an agenda. And then I got sick and I couldn't go out at all. And then I, just so this last year, when I was thinking about, what will I do with my time, what in between working on the record, I thought I'd give it a start, and I thought I'd blog about it, because eventually what would happen is, I went to a couple of things, and I thought, you can't turn off your little producer brain. For me, I go to see a show, and eventually at some point there's some kind of evaluation that happens. And the question is always, is this good? And so, and then I wanted to somehow catalog all the people I've been seeing. And so I started this blog. So I've been going to see lots of music. I feel like I'm kind of getting in a little bit of a rut, because there's some stuff I'm finding that I'm really liking. So I keep going to them a lot.
Oh, the same artists, or the same.
The Thunderbird has this Space Exchange series on Tuesdays, which I've realized is so great as a singer-songwriter to go to a place where you don't hear any words. It's just music, and it's just people who are primarily musicians, and they compose or they do improv, but it's not in the same kind of pop format, which so it kind of stretches me to listen to that. So that's one of the things I found that I've really liked.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was noticing that. Yeah, and I'll say that I have found so many really great local artists.
Pittsburgh's got incredible talent.
And
that's what I found so far.
Well, we were talking about how I did the Sonic Bids thing, and I had people come from out.
Yeah.
And they would have local artists in between, but this whole season and most of the half of last season, I just had local people, and I decided, and I was just going to focus on that. And all I have to do is go down to Acoustic Cafe and go, oh, wow. I mean, it's how Pete Bush came on here. I had never heard him before. And I was like, wow, they're good,
There's really good people. And the sort of the depth of field might be a little shallow compared to some place like New York or Austin or somewhere. But, the people that are here are great.
Judith Avers was on the show.
Yeah, Judith is fantastic.
I mean, I was just blown away by just the amount of talent there is. And I haven't even probably scratched the surface of the type of music that I want to have on the show. Obviously, I don't go out to metalhead shows and stuff like that, or rap thing.
You could do acoustic.
Huh?
You could do acoustic versions. Come on.
I don't. I mean, I used to listen. Yeah, it's maybe it's an age thing for me. I just can't do that anymore. Listen to shredding guitar players and stuff. But there's just a wealth of talent, and I think that's cool. I think that Portland started a what was it called?
Portland, Oregon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Portland, Oregon started a how they have the coffee fair trade.
Yeah, they're a union. Oh, their venues are that way now, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
fair trade coffee, but now fair trade musician. Like the venues
Yeah.
pay
That's a great
musicians fairly
Yeah.
for playing, which I think that probably would be a really good thing to do here.
Oh, well, I think I read that, and I was talking to somebody else who is an artist in town. I think all it would take is just one or two people to have some initiative to coordinate people, because there are different circles of people in the city, but they all overlap in some way. I don't think it would take very long
Yeah,
to coordinate some kind of thing.
yeah.
For that.
Well, there is the Pittsburgh Musicians Union, but they deal primarily with like symphony players and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think it costs like $300 to join. I was like, well,
Yeah.
you know, I'm a musician. I don't have a lot of money. You know, how can you get a young musician to join the
To
union?
see what the value is on that.
Yeah, and then what? You show up with the contract and say, "This is what I'm going to play for," and sometimes,
Someone's got to do it, right?
there's got to be some other kind of thing, and there's clubs out there that treat people well, and there's other ones that just like I walked out of like, oh man, I'll never do that again.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it'd be a good thing. So. Anyway, speaking of, you have any shows coming up, or are you just
I do.
focused on the?
I have. I was trying not to play shows until the record was done, and then the record got stretched, so I started playing some more shows. So I'm doing a house concert on Sunday with a woman named Heather Maloney from Massachusetts, and that's in Pittsburgh. The Hospitality House Concert.
Oh, Brad's thing.
Brad's
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
And what else do I have coming up? I feel like there's a couple other things. I'll be at the Three Rivers Arts Festival, the Acoustic Cafe stage.
Okay. Cool.
And
I'm looking at
that's
that right
in
now.
June. And there's one other one. I can't remember right now. It's probably on the website.
Winchester Thurston.
Oh yeah. So a friend of mine is doing this. Has this thing called Conversation We, where he's trying to expand conversations between the races to sort of build relationship. And he's an artist himself, and so he tries to pull in the arts as well as community stuff. So there's an event at Winchester Thurston in Pittsburgh with Joy Ike and Preach Freedom from Rusted Root, and then JG will do a little music, and then he'll have a panel that tells some stories, and then there's open dialogue. I've been to one of his events before. They're really quite extraordinary.
Cool.
He makes this really great space for Black people and white people to just talk about like their experience. So
That's cool. That sounds really interesting to me.
yeah,
I was the only white guy on my basketball team. You know, kind
there
of
you
thing.
go.
So, Biddle's Escape too. coming
Oh, and
up
Biddle's Escape. Yeah.
in July. Yeah. Yeah, so booking takes a whole other set of energy and recording, and
Yeah.
you know it's.
Union Project. I'm playing at the Union Project. That's what I'm doing.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I interrupted.
Where's that?
That's in Highland Park.
Okay, cool.
They just renovated a church space, so for community stuff. So they're doing a little party.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a
It's not
private.
on
Yeah, okay.
No, it's not on my website yet. That's why I couldn't remember it.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, folks, go to Heather's website so you can check out shows that she has coming up, and look for her CD release. And you want to play another tune for us?
Sure, I can play another one.
Okay.
Excuse me, I have a frog in my throat for some reason. This is a more, this gets into my less poppy stuff. It's called Mile Marker.
Your gaze is a tiger lily. I can feel your petals trace my shoulder blades. Feels like youth, like warmer weather, like all the colors could run together. My mile markers, stepping stone or my hearthstone, we're all on our own when it comes to making peace. My casual conversation and one more cup of coffee keeps me hanging round, wearing your insights like hand-me-downs. Somewhere between here and New York City, I noticed you had turned away, giving me that instantly familiar feeling. Razor blades, confetti, my reason. I play the mending game. My mile markers, stepping stone or my hearthstone. We're all on our own when it comes to making peace. Are you my stepping stone, my hearthstone? Either way, I never meant to put roots down where I roam. 'Cause when you go, they make that tender tearing sound. When you go, will they give so easily till there's nothing left to win? There's nothing here but me. Now your gaze is a tiger lily, but I bought my bouquet here in the city. And in the morning I take my roses, like I take my chances, like I take my mile markers, like I take my mile markers. Hey, my mile markers, stepping stone or my hearthstone. We're all on our own. Yeah, we're all on our own when it comes to making peace.
Great song. Great song. I love the lyrics to that. So you've kind of you've alluded to this, but you really didn't. I didn't know how much you wanted to talk about it when you said that you had environmental, toxin and something illness
heavy metal
that
toxicity is what it was.
And I know this is something that you're real involved in because you played the Tour de Frac, and
I did play
So
Fundraising.
environmentalism is
Yeah, it's kinda big.
something you and I both share in common, and this whole gas drilling and shale and all that kind of stuff. And I just wondered if you wanted to, how do you find? I mean, this area in general has so much leftover whatever, mercury or whatever, everything, it's lead, whatever is in the and then I find out that depending upon whether you fluoridated chlorate water can actually then leach the lead out of your pipes, and
Right.
that's all, so I don't know if you wanted to talk a little bit about that at all, or what
Sure. I could say it's a couple of things. I mean, I guess sort of my interest in fracking kind of paralleled me finding out like what was going on with me, because why I wasn't feeling well. And I had to wonder if some of it had to do with it, actually. There's no way to prove it because we couldn't figure out the source, but it kind of happened at the same time, my system overloaded at about the same time that fracking started. Yeah, and Pittsburgh's not a very clean city, and it's surprising to me because there's such a green initiative. There's a lot of people that really care about the land and quality of life. So hopefully at some point there will be a shift. And there are a lot of people like really working really hard. to help that happen. Actually, I have a song that's going to go on the record that's about fracking. So
Oh, cool. Well,
about water anyway.
well, they found that they were dumping the treated the water. Well, not dumping it, but also like taking it to the wastewater treatment plants and having them treat it, and then it wasn't.
Look, I mean, it's chemical warfare is what they're doing. It's corporate chemical warfare on people. I mean, that's what it is. And we should call it what it is because they're taking over and they're killing people. So, with chemicals.
It's scary because it almost resembles like what Texas and Louisiana are.
Yeah,
like it's Cancer Alley there.
And what we're becoming is what we would think of as a third world nation, where people are exploiting all of our resources at the expense of the population living there. And that's what people have been doing around the world, and it's just here now in a more blatant and kind of like
in your face
kind of way, like
we're going to do what we want,
laws and like being really, really bold. So.
Yeah, and I got involved with the mountaintop removal mining stuff through an organization here in town, the Center for Coalfield Justice, which they're involved in the fracking stuff too, and that's how I became aware of it. And when I first had like the guy Ron Gula on the show, which is a name that he was basically the guinea pig test guy down in Abella, one of the first people that Range Resources ever
No
went out
way.
and
Was he the one where they
get myself
exploded?
in trouble for mentioning company names and stuff, but no, he leased his land, and then afterwards all kinds of crazy stuff started happening, and then his neighbors had problems and all this other kind of stuff, and it's a big thing down here. This is like Washington County and Greene County have been. I mean, it's like Swiss cheese, number of places.
Really?
Other than, well, if you put them both together, they outnumber everywhere else. And I think Bradford's.
I didn't know that. Okay.
I think Bradford's the only other has the most wells. I think Bradford is. Okay. But if you put Washington and Greene together, it blows. There's like 800 wells that have been drilled here, and I personally know people that have leased out their farmland. And
are they happy they did it at this
well,
point?
I haven't talked to them once.
Okay.
I'd like to go back afterwards and say, so are you happy? Like, are you happy you're a millionaire? I mean, what about your neighbors? Are they happy with it? It's kind of like that gray area of like everybody puts up with what happens from the flaring and the traffic and and then certain folks get paid for that.
Yeah.
And everyone suffers from it.
And everyone has to deal with the
So depending upon your political leanings, I think, well, that doesn't sound right. I personally wish they just keep it in the ground.
I think that it makes sense because it'll be there. It'll still be there 100 years, hundreds and hundreds of years from now. Like, there's no reason to access it right now. There's, we could do all kinds of stuff to do renewable resources. And then if we're just totally stuck and we can't figure out how to switch to sustainable and renewables, then, maybe technology will have shifted enough, or, you know what I mean? Like, we can keep it as an option, but there's no reason to do it now in my opinion. I know there are like financial reasons for certain people, but.
Well, if we treated it based on the scarcity of what it is, because it is scarce. It's not something. It's a finite resource. Yeah, it's a finite resource, and they keep working harder and harder to get it. Yeah. And if it was treated like you would treat gold, silver, or diamonds, like as a valuable, scarce commodity, and then pay coal miners the equivalent of what they should be making, rather than pay people well to do it and make sure that it's done safely. That would be, in a perfect world, and treat it that way, that we're only going to take it out and we're going to use it to transform over to a sustainable energy model, which doesn't use fossil fuels.
Exactly.
That would be the smart way to do it.
That's what my brother always says. He's sort of like, we should use all the oil resources now to build infrastructure for renewables, and then because that's why we have it now, and we have the manufacturing capability, and we have a finite resource, so we might as well use it to build the new model, and then after that,
Well, it takes energy to make energy. I mean,
Yeah.
it will take energy to produce, renewable resources. But yeah, but I would love to hear that song that you have
Yeah.
about fracking.
I
Yeah.
wonder if I could. I don't know. I don't know if I can do it on piano.
Oh, really? Is it a
I can
guitar
try
song?
it here.
Well, you play what you want to play. I just thought it would be a nice
I
lead
feel
in.
like I should.
It was a nice lead in.
It's got this big high note that I don't know if my voice is going to be able to do, so I apologize to the listeners in advance.
It's the pollen. It's the tree pollen.
Maybe that's what it is.
Oh, it's horrible today. It's
I keyed it down.
If a stranger gave you a vial of poison, told you to drink it down, would you do it? If a neighbor asked you to poison the water to kill off your sons and your daughters, would you do it? Would you do it for money? What would you do for money? What would you do for money? When you feel the lack, do they have your back? Do they? And if we lived in a palace, in a garden of paradise, and we had a chance to nuke all the land, would we do it? Yeah, would you be the one for pieces of silver to tell all your friends tomorrow'd be better? Could you do it? What will we drink when we can't drink the water? What will we drink when we can't drink the water? And where will we go when we don't have a home? No home. So the man came to our town, he offered us money, and we all lay down, gave him purchase, we begged him to do it. And even now he poisons the water, and even now we're killing our daughters. How will they know if you don't say so? Say so, say so, say so. Say so.
Wow, that's awesome.
Thanks. That's my first attempt at a protest song. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
and you're
I
like,
couldn't be simple. I couldn't do like 3 chords. I had to,
yeah, and it's always as an artist, it's always a risk to kind of write something like that.
Yeah, I don't like to be preachy, which is why I think I tried to do it in the form of a question, because we all do things for money. It's just a matter of degree, Like there's nobody that's not guilty of doing something just for money. And the trade-off, this happens to be like the stakes are really high. So, I wrote the song for that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like seeing mountaintop removal for the first time when you see the photographs from the sky and it looks like Mars, and you go,
Yeah.
I mean, it's so blatantly there,
Yeah.
so you can actually take a photograph of it.
Yeah.
But you can't photograph benzene, as it
No.
rolls off. And
Yep.
I guess you can with an infrared camera. You can show it leaking, and there
Or the
was
fact that they found radioactive waste in the Mon River,
yeah,
Yeah,
these radioactive isotopes that they're finding, or fish kill on an entire stream. It's like, oh, well, that had nothing to do with us. I'm like, it just like stuff like that, and I'm just in Pennsylvania is just such a beautiful state with the mountains and everything,
It
and
is.
just Appalachia in general.
beautiful place, and water's our resource. We are water rich, and like that's going to be a bigger resource to have, I think, in the future than it is.
It'll be the next commodity that Halliburton
And we're
figures
trading-
out to,
Yeah, exactly.
to sell
There we
us.
go.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
so cynical, Mitch.
Yeah, it'll be like, here, Halliburton water,
Well, Coca-Cola's already working on that, so
yeah. I'm probably gonna get in trouble for saying
I'd rather
that
just
stuff.
write songs. Put it that way.
Yeah. That's that's. I think I remember Jeffrey Gaines, a quote he said. That's my platform. Free speech, my songs and stuff that he could stand up on stage, and that's my sword, so to speak.
Yeah.
I get to carry.
Well,
his,
God bless him. I can't do that. Most of my stuff has to be like sort of personal, because that's.
Yeah,
Some people are really good at turning phrases and inspiring people and
like Mike Stout.
and preaching,
He's like Mike Stout's always out there writing
talking
something.
about the stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
like that's
yeah.
like a really valuable
Protest
thing
singer.
for artists to do. But all of the the whole spectrum of what artists do is
Ann
valuable.
Feeney.
Yeah, and Ann Feeney.
She was on the show. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She
she's
just
great.
yeah. I'm like, she can write a song about anything
Mm-hmm.
protest wise. She's awesome. She's right there right on the front lines, and those are the people like that I truly respect. Like writing a song about it and then putting yourself in handcuffs and going to jail.
Yeah,
I can't do that.
yeah, that's not my life either.
And I kind of feel like, well, I wish I could, but this is the best I can do.
You can do it in other ways.
Yeah.
You don't have to, not everybody has to use their art to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, there are people that have done it, and I sometimes the cynical person in me thinks, oh, they're doing it for publicity stunt, but there are people like, think of Jackson Brown and what they did with the no nuke stuff back in the
Yeah.
80s, and that
The walk.
yeah, actually got arrested for it, but I've really enjoyed having you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
As a songwriter and as a friend, I always look forward to it, to hearing you play and walk away better from it and listening to your songs. And so next, this is the final. We have actually had 69 shows, 3 seasons. We're in a 3rd season coming up now. We will be off for the summer. I have a bunch of things that I have planned, but we will be back when the fall semester starts up for season number 3 to start. And I can't believe it's been that many shows.
Congratulations.
And I'm going to try to work on putting a compilation CD together, a couple of them to highlight some of the performances that we've had on. We once we had some of the technical things, I've figured out how to do these syncing audio and video type thing. It's a little bit better, but now I'd like to do something like that, get the best of, and there's actually a contest. I hope I didn't miss the submission date, but it's like college radio.
Oh, okay.
Like submit your station live broadcast, and I sent. I'll look at this, and maybe you'd be interested in that. But we the station manager had, or the faculty advisor had mentioned that to me. If you want to take us out with the song,
Sure. I can do my newest one.
and I figured that would be a nice way. This is WNJR in Washington, and you're listening to 91.3 FM and streaming live at WNJR.org. This is Heather Kropf with, what song you know?
It's called The Good Road.
Okay.
Getting to the point of leaving is not so hard to find. You pick your destination and you leave the rest behind. And the good road is the hard road, and the hard road is in your mind. And the roller coaster ride goes round one more time. I know about your sleepless nights. I know about the rain. I know something of what you love and what you hope to gain. And the good road is the hard road, and the hard road is in your mind. And the roller coaster ride goes round one more time. Yeah, it spins one more time.